along with the chaos that COVID-19 has brought along with it, including low stocks, toilet paper droughts, and people still refusing to cover their mouth, it has also brought along a very lovely term that I wish I knew in my youth. Shut up. I did say in my youth, which is social distancing. I wish I was aware of social distancing back in my college days because I have so many ridiculous stories where social distancing probably would have prevented these things from occurring. Now, I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm just a nice person. I try to be nice. I know me. I'm self-aware. I know I can be a little funny acting. I'm very awkward and and the funny acting is a result of being awkward. I'm extremely socially awkward. It is sad. Um so I guess with a combination of that and being extremely empathetic and compassionate, with a hint of naive, um, I have been in some of the most some of the most ridiculous stories. So I decided I was going to share a few of those stories. God help me with you all today. Maybe for some entertainment value. I don't know. Maybe you'll get something out of it. So, the first story I'm going to tell, it may not necessarily be funny, but it is just intriguing. So after I graduated college, um, you're out there trying to find a job in your field, but of course they want you to have experience. And you don't have experience, but you have the education, but they don't want your education, they want your experience. So it was hard for me to find a job. So a friend of mine hooked me up with a job at a hotel in the next town over. And if anybody knows me, please do not say the name of this hotel. I know how y'all are. Y'all are trifling and y'all will put out the name of stuff. Please don't put out the name of nothing. I don't want nobody suing me. Um, so I was working at a hotel. I moved to the city. I started working at the hotel. Everything was great. I was working on my social skills, you know, being at the front desk, talking with people, getting to know people, being personable, all that great stuff. I was there for about 2 years, and most of my stories will probably come from this particular hotel. But but one night when I was working, I was put. I think I was doing. I think it was a second shift, which was 3 to 11. I was working second shift, and in this particular hotel, there were a lot of people who actually lived there for like a crazy amount of time. So there was a lady who lived there for probably about 3 years. There's people living there from like a couple months to maybe like a year or two. So it wasn't uncommon to have, long term guests. Now, mind you, if you see one hotel, you see 1,000 of them because they're all kind of clumped in this one area. And one night I was working, minding my business. It was kind of a slow night, and me, being the person I was actually studying my Bible. I was, I was studying my Bible, minding my business. Me and the Lord's business. I was minding my business, and all of a sudden, I had the Lord. You know what? It was Jesus. It was Jesus told me to get up and to look. Now, in front of the desk, there's a mirror, probably about maybe 10 feet away, like the kind of off center, and I don't know how to describe it. There's a hallway parallel to the desk. So I'm facing this way. I'm facing this way, and there's a hallway going this way. God, I hope that makes sense. And yeah, so again, I'm minding my business, and I had the unction. I had the unction to get up and to look, to I don't know, just to get up and look, because I felt like someone was around, but I couldn't see them. Didn't hear anything, but I felt like someone was around. So I get up and I go stand at the desk, like where I'm visible. And there in the mirror, as I'm looking, I see the reflection of what's down the hallway, which is close to me, of a God, I hope that face it's a woman. This woman is coming down the hallway towards the front desk, and her hair is over her face, like grudge, like you know, like her hair is like this, and she's walking, and she's kind of like drunk. But I didn't know. I mean, the first thing that came to my mind was the grudge. Now, mind you, um, because I worked nights alone, I had a taser. I had a there was a heavy pair of scissors, metal scissors. They were a little rusty, so I kept those in my back pocket just in case somebody wanted to run up and get done up. So for my protection, because I'm a lady and I'm the only one there, so those were my weapons. And when I looked in the mirror and saw her coming, you can only imagine what your reaction would be. I'm like, what in the world, you know? And she's stumbling out and she's falling, and it like she's falling on. She's trying to hold on against the. She's trying to balance herself against the wall so she won't fall. And she has on heels. And guess what? She falls. She falls and she's crawling towards the center of where you come into the hotel. She passes by the office door where I am, and she gets kind of out to where I can see her on the floor. And right when I see her, this lovely, wonderful couple. The wife was a traveling nurse, and her husband, they've been there for like 6 months. They happen to come out and they take regular smoke breaks on the dime. So thank you, Jesus. They came out of their room at the same time this chick is crawling on the floor. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, ma'am, ma'am, are you okay? Hey, you want to get up? What's your name? How can I help you? I didn't really feel safe coming from behind the desk yet. I just want to see her face to see like what I'm working with. I still couldn't see her face. Her hair is still covering up her face. And just as the couple are coming out of their room, the nurse comes up. She's like, darling, like she's trying to get her up and everything. And so I'm looking from behind the desk, and I'm like, ma'am, are you okay? Are you lost? You seem discombobulated. And she's like, oh, my friend is in room 125. I have to find my friend. I need my friend. It's obvious that she is incoherent. Like she is high off something or drunk. She wasn't in her right mind. So the nurse is looking at me. She was like, you know what? Go ahead and call the police, because something ain't right. So I called the police immediately from the desk. I called the police, tell them where to come, hang up the phone. I put up, a little sign that says, no one's here right now. I go out to help the nurse help her. And the lady, she was a skinny woman. She had just got out the shower. She was soaking wet, hadn't dried off, but she had on like a club dress, a coat, and some heels that she threw on. And she was like, where's my friend? I need to get back to my hotel. I need to get back to my room. My friend is here. And I'm asking her, are you sure that you booked your room here? Because there's like 4 or 5 other hotels around. And she's like, yeah, well, my friend is here. My friend is here at least. And we're asking like, what is your friend's name? Do you have her number? We can call her for you. And she's like, no, she's in room 125. Like she's very adamant. So we walk her to room 125. And when we get to 125, we knock on the door, knock, knock. No answer. I knock again. And at this point I have a master key, but I wasn't going to use it, to just come in on this room because, the lady, this what we thought was drunk lady, she decides to bang on the door. So she's like, boom, 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 boom. And all of a sudden, someone comes and answers the door. And it's a guy who is with one of the construction companies that, they let their guys stay at our hotel for a extended period of time. Um, I know, well, I'm familiar with him. He's a construction worker. His teeth are sporadic. And he was asleep and shirtless. So when he answered the door, he was like, what in the world's going on? Like, he kind of snatched it. He's like, what in the world's going on? As soon as he opens the door and the nurse, is saying like, hey, do you know her? He was like, huh? No. She bust through the door. Like, she pushed him to the left, bust in the door, and shut us out of this man room. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get fired. This crazy woman just, like, he said he didn't know who she was. Like, okay, it got to that point. She said he said he did not know who she was. And he was like, no, I don't know her. And then all of a sudden she's just boom, like gets in his room, a complete stranger's room. And she shuts the door and, tries to lock us out of the room. And I'm banging on the door and I'm like, open the door, open the door. So the guy opens the door. Well, no, he was opening the door. She was in front of him trying to close the door. So me and the nurse had to kind of, elbow our way in. And when we did, she fell. And she fell in the kitchen of the room. And when she fell, she fell spread eagle. So you saw all of her birth canal. Poor baby had no drawers on. I'm just like, what is happening to my life? And when the guy saw she had no drawers on, his whole face changed, his demeanor changed, and he didn't look as disturbed anymore. He looked a little inquisitive. So now we definitely got to get her out of here. So we, grab her by the arms and we like rip her out of there. And I apologize to him. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, please, like, Jesus, please don't get me fired. I need a job. I'm so sorry. You see how she is. We're trying to help her or whatever. And he's like, oh no, it's no problem. No, it's nothing but a thing. It just makes a funny story. And I'm like, all right, well, bye. We're finna, go get her situated. And we took her out back into the lobby, and the police still hadn't shown up yet. We're like, when the world's the police? So now, mind you, the girl, she's like, I don't know, she's just very adamant on finding her friend. Like, she's very set on finding this friend of hers. So, we're asking her questions like, what is your friend's name? What does she look like? What is her name? I can find her in the registry. I can't tell you her room number, but I can at least call the room and see if she's willing to, like, does she know you or whatever? And she's like, no. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna leave. We don't feel comfortable with her, just up and leaving because she drunk and or high. Like, you can't just go venturing out, So she tries to leave. Me and the nurse went running after her. I was trying to situate everything because some people started to come to the desk, and you don't want them to, see what's going on. So I was handling them kind of quickly. It's like, hurry up and get back to this situation. Next thing I know, see, the nurse was she was older. She was an older lady. She was like in her, she was a middle-aged lady. Next thing I know, the girl rips away from her and walks out the door, outside. And she's just like, I'm finna go drown myself in the sewage lake. And no, like, she actually said it. She was like, oh, I'm just about to kill myself. I'm just about to go drown myself in the sewage lake. And the lady's like, oh my God. I can't run after her because, I can't run that fast. Go get her. So now here's Ariel, like Spider-Man, trying to save the day, just running after this broad. She got close to the sewage lake. Half of me is like, you ain't gonna do it. Like, she'll be all right. But I was like, no, I don't know. Jesus and my conviction. I don't know. I just didn't feel right to try to bet on whether or not she was bad enough to do it. So So I get her right before she tries to like cross over the threshold to the sewage lake. I get her. She was a skinny woman. Like she was tall, but she was skinny. So I managed to like get her away from the sewage, from the drainage lake or whatever. By that time, the police come and all they see is me grabbing her up, and they're like, "Oh, what's going on?" So we tell them what's happening, and I had to call my manager and tell him everything that happened, which wasn't the first time because there's many stories where I've had to call him in the middle of the night and say, "Hey, this is what's going on." Um, so I called my manager, you know, write a full report, write a police report for the police, and then they start to question her and everything, and I just couldn't stay out there for that. I went back in because I'm at work, so I go back in to handle life, and before the night was over, the police come back in and they're telling me like, oh well, turns out, like, they come back to me, the nurse, and they're like, well, turns out she was high, I believe off of meth. She was a meth addict. She was high, and she was living in a neighboring, well, she was staying in a neighboring hotel, and um oh, with her boyfriend. So she was staying in a neighboring hotel with her boyfriend. They were in the room doing meth. He ended up overdosing in the room, and she freaked out and she left him there. And she went to her friend's hotel room, which is not the hotel I was at. It was a different hotel across town. So she took a Uber or something over there to her, and she didn't tell the friend that her boyfriend OD'd in her hotel room. So they were kind of chillaxing or whatever. And then all of a sudden she decided to come back to the room to she tried to go back to her hotel room. Well, he was already found, I guess, maybe with housekeeping or whatever. He was already, kind of like discovered. Um so they the ambulance went ahead and took him, and by the time she got back, because she was with her friend like all day, so by the time she got back, he was gone. He was gone, but I don't think she knew it. I think she went. Wait, okay. It was some years ago. So, um, she left the room, or she freaked out, and somehow um his body was discovered, or I don't know if she told that he was whatever, I don't know, but after he OD'd in the room, she left and went to her friend's hotel room, which is not our hotel. It was a hotel across town, and she partied and, like, hung out with her friend in her hotel room, got high, came back, and was trying to go back to her hotel. Um, but because of all, like, she was making a lot of noise and a lot of fuss in the lobby, so they kicked her out. And she ended up coming into our hotel, you know, and like she came in through the side door, um, which is wild because you need a car to get through that door. So I guess the door was kind of left open, and there's the story of you know, the grudge lady. Like, in my head, I call her the grudge lady because that's just what I like, my first impression of her when I first saw her. But I don't know how she's doing. I haven't seen her since that night. I pray that she's doing well. I pray that she's recovered. I hate that her boyfriend, OD'd. When we learned the story, we were, pretty somber, like, oh, like that's pretty messed up. As far as the gentleman in the room the next morning, he laughed about it. He was laughing about it, and I told my manager. So my manager, my manager was like, okay, well, it's all good. It's all good and dandy. All is well. Um, so that's story number one of why why social distancing is great, or why it works for me, or why I need to make that a principle in my life. I don't know. I don't know what this is going to be called, but it's going to be something around that. So, with that being said, I hope that you enjoy this story time, and you guys have a blessed day, and stay safe. Cover your mouth, wash your hands and your tail, and do the Lord's work. Shondo. Bye, guys.